This is Arts Weekly. Arts Weekly is produced in cooperation with the College of Visual and Performing Arts at IPFW, offering degrees in fine arts, music, theater, and visual communication and design.
Welcome to Arts Weekly. I'm John O'Connell, Dean of the IPFW College of Visual and Performing Arts. Today we'll be talking about some outstanding musical performances coming up in our area. On the second half of the show, Lori Schatz from the Warsaw Performing Arts Center will be here to tell us all about their upcoming bluegrass gathering. But first, I'm pleased to welcome Andrew Constantine of the Fort Wayne Philharmonic. Andrew, thank you for joining me on Arts Weekly.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's always good to have you on. The season is just around the corner.
Yeah, it's upon us after several months of everybody playing around and
sure, a little
just having
hiatus.
a relaxed time. Yeah, it's now back to the hard work of playing music and entertaining the audiences. So we begin.
A whole season of dedicated concerts. From,
beginning this Saturday.
Before we go there, I want to remind our audience of how long you've been in Fort Wayne and what brought you to Fort Wayne. It's such an interesting story.
Well, yeah, this is my fifth full season as a music director. And prior to that, the orchestra went through, I think, a 2-year search to find a new music director, which is something that's intimidating for most people to hear. When you're looking for a job, you apply for a job, and then 2 years later, you might find out whether you've got it or not.
That's right, exactly.
So that was an exhaustive search on their part, and exhausting for me in being part of that.
And it's standard to kind of have a year and a half to 2 years to look for an artistic director.
Yes.
Because they bring in people. You actually had to come and work with the musicians and conduct and have conversations with many community members.
I did. I had to put on an act for over a week. It's really
hard
hard
to keep
work.
that up,
It
isn't
is. Perform all the way through. It's not just on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were several concerts, both with the chamber orchestra and with the full Philharmonic as well. Right. So they found out what I could convince them I could do at the time.
Great, and we're lucky to have you. It's also interesting, I think, that you, and is also standard of often many artistic directors, you maintain two careers, two different jobs in the United States.
Yes.
You have the Fort Wayne Philharmonic, and then you also are in
Pennsylvania. The Reading Symphony. Yes, it's an orchestra that's slightly smaller than the orchestra here in Fort Wayne in terms of budget, but it's been going for 102 years now. It's a wonderful tradition and incredibly well supported by the community there.
Really ingrained in the community.
Oh yeah, very much so, very much so. And then I do quite a bit of guest conducting as well. I've got a tour of Germany coming up, and I was recently in Italy, and would you believe I'm going to Hawaii to conduct?
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow, I'm a little jealous about that. Yeah, your wife is thrilled, exactly. Yeah. That's fantastic. Yeah. Where in Hawaii, if I might ask? I'm sort of prone to Maui myself, but...
No, it's the Hawaii Symphony, so it's Honolulu, yeah.
Wait, well, terrific.
That's where I'll be over Thanksgiving, if you were wondering.
If I'm wondering where you are, I'll know not to call you.
Yeah.
6-hour time difference. Well, great. All right, so you're here, and we're beginning our your fifth season then, and Mahler's on the agenda.
Yeah, Gustav Mahler, this amazing composer who lived end of the 19th into the 20th century, and wrote these symphonies that seem on the face of it colossal, but they're full of such incredibly uplifting music, and it's really life-affirming sort of journey to be part of this, because he broke the mold in so many ways. He didn't just want to be limited by the boxes that classical music was supposed to go into, and writing this tune and then answering it with that tune. He wanted to have bird calls in it, he wanted to have dancers in it, he wanted to have klezmer bands marching past and this sort of thing. All part of his impressions of life at wherever he was at that age.
Right. I guess some of the research I've done on Mahler, he also, because of that, he uses a more variety in instruments than a general philharmonic or general orchestra. I mean, there's more horns, if you will.
Usually more instruments than variety.
Yeah.
Well, the first symphony that he wrote when he was about 28, it has 7 horns in it, whereas we normally have, in fact, we're using 8, so we're even expanding that. Yeah. We normally have 2 or 4 horns. More trumpets, more trombones, more. His favorite direction for the conductor is mehr, which is, more of these, more harps, more cymbals. There's one symphony we did the other year which has a hammer in it as well, a huge wooden mallet that's supposed to be bashed on this box to represent the blows of fate.
Is this I've seen this mallet. I think that, is it the mallet that's almost you stand up on a,
Yes.
and it's not just
It
a
is-
little mallet. It
is big.
4x4, if you will,
It's
and
a-
they slam it down on something.
It's a huge
Yeah, I saw it last
undertaking.
year.
And
Yeah.
the theatre of that moment as well, you know, preparing to raise the hammer and to
Yeah.
bring it down just the right moment. That's all part of the drama.
Wonderful, great. And that is this Saturday.
This Saturday,
Right,
27th.
opening
yes.
night.
Yeah.
Right.
At the Embassy Theatre. Just to remind you.
Just remind everybody, Embassy Theatre at 7:30 is.
Now that's the telling point. It's 7:30. Our concerts used to be at 8 o'clock, but we're bringing them forwards half an hour.
Well, but yes, that's important. But also, your opening night used to be earlier the last couple of years. So we want to make everybody understand that it's not the 6 o'clock that it was the last couple of years.
It's now 7:30.
It's 7:30.
It's definitely 7:30.
You
Better
know,
to be early than late. Though.
you know that the Broadway curtains are moving. A lot of them are moving to 7:30. America's moving to 7:30 off of the 8 o'clock calendar.
It's since the British came to this country.
Is that what it is?
We look at 8 o'clock.
Of
We think
course
that's
it is.
far too late. The pub's going to be closed after this.
I can't have a drink or have dinner after.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's
yeah.
what it's all
well,
about.
it actually has a lot to do with it. It has to do with the fact that it was going too late. But yeah, 7:30. All right. So that's the first concert. What else is on the register and on the plan for the season?
Wonderful things, particularly in the pops. We have some wonderful events coming up in October. 11th of October, we have the Capitol Quartet coming in, which is a saxophone quartet. They are just stunning. And I've been trying to get them here for all the time. I've been music director. And they have these amazing charts with orchestra that are very challenging for the orchestra. There's great interaction. The four guys are very entertaining in their own right, virtuoso players, but there's a lot of humor in their presentation, and the interaction between the orchestra and the soloist is incredible. And all of the numbers, of course, are arrangements of usually 30s and 40s numbers that the people know and love there.
It's a big band.
Big band
big
stuff,
band stuff.
and some classical stuff that they've reworked as well.
Now,
really challenging.
Why are they called the Capitol Quartet? Are
I
they
have
DC?
absolutely no idea.
Really? Okay.
That's a terrible question.
I've stumped them. Is everyone paying attention?
Because they're absolutely
stumped
capital O chaps.
No, I think they might. Well, I don't know. Maybe they're from DC or not. But there's a troupe called the Capitol Comedians in the Capitol that are 4 or 5 comedians that travel around the country that do. They're from DC and they do political jokes. But interesting.
There are no political jokes in this show, I don't think.
We don't think
Plenty
so.
of gags and wonderful playing and great music.
Wonderful. Great. So you have some past with them because you said you've tried to have them here for. You've seen
Yeah, I've
them.
got previous with these guys, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I've conducted them a lot with the Baltimore Symphony. In fact, they were the first pops act I got to conduct with the Baltimore Symphony when I came over here 10 years ago. And I had a severe warning from the concertmaster, who's a close friend. He said, you better learn these scores. So, why? It's just a pop show. He said, these guys are seriously good. You don't mess with this. And we normally give them more rehearsal time than other people because it's such a challenge.
Right.
So yes, I've got history with them. A couple of them are good friends of mine. They're all college professors as well. So that's a wonderful feature.
And where is that concert?
That's in the Embassy.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yes.
Because I know you do have 3 or 4 concerts on the campus of IPFW.
Oh yeah,
At Reinhardt
yeah,
Center.
and
Yeah.
love that concert hall. We rehearsed there for most of our concerts, and we'll have a concert there. Let's see, Masterworks in November. 1st of November is there. 18th of October as well is going to be there. That's dueling concertmasters on the 18th of October. I've got the concertmaster from Baltimore and the concertmaster from the Philadelphia Orchestra, and they're playing this work that's essentially a duet by Mozart's Sinfonia Concitante. I've done it with them before, so I know that they can do it without beating each other up.
Right,
but,
right. You don't have to be the guard in the middle.
No, I don't have to
Oh,
separate
good,
them. No, it's
good,
great
good,
to have
good.
those guys.
And then Holiday Pops was hugely popular.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's very much the core of our season, I think, which is quite surprising because not many orchestras would say that, but it is so immensely popular. We have something like half a dozen shows that take place at the Embassy, and then 10 or 12 performances that go around the region.
Right.
And we've been talking about this in meetings this week, just letting people who are new to the orchestra know how incredibly popular they are. And very often these are the first and perhaps only occasion that some people get to hear the Philharmonic. So it's a wonderful part of our mission as well.
Right.
And musicians will tell you, oh crikey, Holiday Pops again. I've got to play Jingle Bells, I've got to play this. And then they get there and they all say, to to a man and a woman, they really enjoy it. It's
Right.
always good fun.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you guys change it up every year. I mean, you play some of the standards, but you always have really talented singers that come along,
Yes.
and Santa Claus is involved. Well, nobody loves the holidays like Fort Wayne. I mean, I've only been here 7 years, and I got to tell you, this town is nonstop from Thanksgiving to January 1st. I can't believe it. And then in March, you have a new event that you are really personally invested in. I'd like to talk about that briefly before our time is up.
Yes.
I'm excited about that.
I'm excited about it as well, and I want to thank you for your support on this. But I'm initiating an international conductors and concertmasters workshop, and I'm doing that with a friend who's a professor in Italy. He and I were in class together in St. Petersburg in Russia 20 years ago, and we had this amazing teacher who was about 90 at the time, called Ilya Musin, and he'd been head of conducting there since 1930-something. And we try to continue his incredible style of teaching. Now I'm combining that with a concertmasters class, a violinist class, because the relationship between the concertmaster and the conductor is something that's very rarely looked at, developed, analyzed, and there are very few workshops to help these guys train and develop. So I'm bringing a great concertmaster in for that, and working with the students, and then performing a concert in the Hour Hall at Reinhardt.
So it's a combination of some international talent coming in to do some of the teaching, but then you're inviting 4 to 6 to 8 conductors from around the country to come in and spend the time with these professionals.
Well,
and then
what's interesting about
that
that is that we haven't even started advertising it yet, and people are sending me emails saying, hey, I've heard a rumor that this is happening.
Yeah. Well, we're partnering with you at IPFW and at the College of Visual and Performing Arts, and I'm very excited about it. And thank you for asking us for that opportunity, because, you know, for our students to, as we've talked about, I'm doing an entrepreneurship course in the spring, and I really want to, on the first day, get some students who can immediately begin in your planning meetings to sort of be on your team.
Fantastic.
Because that, instead of just standing in the room and like watching, I'd like them to sort of, since this is a business class, sort of partner with you from the beginning of the year on, as we move towards March and the convention dates.
Well, this industry needs more and more talented business people on the other side of the stage and curtain as well, so so bring them on. It'll be great fun.
All right. Andrew, thank you for joining me.
Great pleasure. Thank you,
I will see you
John.
Saturday night. I look forward to it.
Me too.
Please take this minute to view our performance calendar of what's coming up in our area, and I'll be right back with Lori Schatz of the Warsaw Performing Arts Center.